Hello everybody, welcome back to Fifield Junction and welcome back to another review for you. As we can see, today's model, I can't believe it's finally here, the brand new GWR Class 802-1 train pack from Hornby. It's been a long time coming, but finally the model's been released and we finally got it here in front of us. Now this particular model, it's been on the cards for a little while now. I can't remember when Hornby announced it. I think it was in the 2023 range, but don't quote me on that. It might have been the 2022 range, but it certainly was a while ago now, but I suppose that's the case for most models. I just think the average sort of time, roughly for a model being announced to be released, I think it's something like 18 months, something like that. So this is probably roughly correct for around that time, but again, don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's certainly been on the cards for a while. But literally just last week, or well, it's barely even a week ago now, when we finally released it, and it's finally out in the shops, and we can now finally buy it and hopefully enjoy it. Now this particular model, as we can see, the actual unit number for this is 802105. It wasn't supposed to be originally though, it was originally going to be 802101. However, for whatever reason, Hornby changed it, and when the samples came out and they put them on their website, the unit number had for some reason changed. Someone told me that it was because of, or something like because 802101 was named. And I think maybe when Hornby chose it originally it wasn't, but it was named and Hornby didn't want to go into designing all the name and everything for it and all sort of that stuff. I could be wrong, but that might have been the case. But for whatever reason, whatever it was, they changed the unit number and we've got 802105, but that's fine. It doesn't really make much of a difference really, does it? So unit numbers don't always matter too much, and I think, well, certainly in this case it doesn't matter too much. This particular pack, as we can see, this is a 5-car pack. Obviously, because these 802-1s, all the 802-1s are 9 cars, obviously to make it a full 9-car set, you need the extra 4 coaches. And obviously, well, as you'd expect, I've done just that. So I've got both packs here. So we've got the 5-car pack here, and then in this box here, which we'll get a better look at later, we can see this is the GWR Class 802-1 coach pack. And this comprises of the extra 4 coaches that you need to go with this set to make it a full-length train. So we'll have a look at this pack first, and then we'll have a quick look at the coach pack. Probably maybe just look at one of the coaches, one of the non-powered coaches, if you like, one that doesn't have one of the diesel engines in it. So obviously that will have different bogies and everything compared to all the other coaches. So we might look at that one, but probably won't look at any of the others. But again, we'll have a look at that later. Now this particular pack, obviously if you want one of these, it's certainly not going to be cheap, because the RRP for this 5-car pack is £502, which is absolutely ludicrous. I know I probably shouldn't laugh, but I mean, come on Hornby. This particular tooling was designed a long time ago now, and really nothing's really changed much about it. I know that these are supposed to now be 21-pin DCC ready. It does say that on the box, so we can see there. So DCC ready, 21-pin connection, and we'll have a look at that later. We'll take I'll take the underframe off the motor unit, and we'll have a look underneath there to see what the new circuitry is like, providing it is definitely 21-pin. So we'll see that. But apart from that, really, there isn't really much else different about it. Really, most of the tooling sort of costs should have really been covered by now, I'd expect, by previous releases of the IET. Because I doubt really, apart from the retooling of the circuit board and everything, nothing has really changed much about this tooling. Again, apart from that circuitry, like I think detailing wise, probably most of the decoration and all of that, there's nothing really much different. If you want the extra coach pack as well to go with this, and I believe the RRP for that is, I think it was £265 for the extra coach pack. So, well, just adding that up, you're looking at probably close to 200, not 200, around 700 and what, £70, close to that RRP for the entire set. Obviously don't pay that. I wouldn't recommend ever paying that. If you want these from the retailers, then obviously you're going to be looking at around 10 to 15% off both of those prices. However, I did not even do that because I got it even cheaper, because a while ago Hornby did a special sort of discount or offer, if you like, for Collectors Club members, and basically any you could basically get 20% off any in stock or pre-order items. So I rushed at the chance and I pre-ordered both this and the coach pack at that time. So I managed to get this set for just over £400 and the extra coach pack for £212. So I basically paid around £614 for the entire 9-car set, which is a lot better. Still, I think a bit on the expensive side, but to be honest, for a full 9-car pack, I mean, come on, full 9-car set for just over 600 quid. I think that's not too bad. I mean, considering obviously this is all, I mean, obviously it's a premium model. We got all sort of interior lighting and everything, all very good detail for the most part. That's not overly bad, I think, in my opinion. Obviously, you may think different, but I think that's definitely a bit more of a better price for this full 9-car set, really, than about 770 quid or whatever. I mean, come on, Hornby, get your prices right. I mean, I know obviously prices have to go up, and obviously you've got inflation and all sort of other things, but still, that's still a really silly price for one of these. I think really not worth it. But all of that aside, I think we need to have a look inside and have a look at the model. Well, before we do that, we'll have a quick look at the back of the box to see if there's any more information. We can see on the back there, so well, there isn't really that much. We've got another photo there of what we've got inside this pack, and then we can see a bit there about the additional coaches that we get. So you can see there all the additional coaches that you get in that extra pack to go with this set to make it a full-length train. But apart from that, there isn't really much else on the back of the box, to be honest. I don't think there's really much more info. So now, I think what we can do is open the box. It should be nice and easy. Just open this, lift up the flap, and get out the trays. I have very quickly had these out just to have a quick look at them and make sure they're all okay. Well, the 2 end units anyway, but I haven't taken the coaches out yet on this pack. So it's pretty much going to be a fresh review in a sense. But there we go, a bit of a tight fit. Get that out. There we go. So you can see here the packaging is the same as the other releases. So polystyrene tray, not too good, but just the job, I suppose. So we've got the instructions here, so I'll have a very quick look through these before we look at the units themselves. So you can see there, it's actually Class 800, so they haven't really changed these too much from previous releases, because this is obviously an 802, but there's not too many differences exterior-wise anyway. So we can see all the general stuff there, so general sort of stuff, DCC ready, running hints, I think various servicing sort of bits there. But we can see inside, so I think this is mostly where it's changed. So it talks about coupling the units together, body removal, not that you should really need to unless you want to fit passengers or something, or you need to get inside for any sort of fault reasons. A bit more there about lubrication, so on the axles, putting the body back on, DCC ready, I should say DCC ready, not CC ready, but okay. So we can see there where the socket now is with the new 21-pin decoder, so it's right at the end, so I'm guessing on this unit it'll be right around here where the socket is, and then we got space at the end there for a speaker, which is good because on the old 8-pin versions of these models, sound fitting on these certainly wasn't the easiest in the world, mainly because you had obviously had the 8-pin socket instead. It meant that you had to cram the socket, well, basically try and cram most of the time the decoder and speaker all in this space here, and it's not the biggest space in the world. It's only about 20 by 40 millimeters to an extent. So basically the size of your standard factory speaker almost. But that's certainly not a lot of room for a quite large sound decoder and speaker. So basically 99% of the time you either had to put either the decoder inside the body, or the easier option was to put the speaker inside the body, which obviously wasn't really ideal considering that this space was designed for the speaker. But yeah, hopefully with this new 21-pin tooling, obviously because you've got the decoder and everything, or basically all the electronics, if you like, of the decoder and DCC stuff, all basically here, because obviously that's how 21-pin decoders work. They basically literally go in and almost perfectly replace the blanking plates. It means that all of this space is perfectly reserved for the speaker, so you don't have to worry about trying to put one or the other inside the body. So this hopefully should be a better solution for sound fitting, which I'll definitely I'll definitely do it in the future when I can, but not going to be doing it right now. And I think that's it really. Yeah, there's nothing else on the instructions. So now we can get inside and have a look at the units. So I think what we'll do is we'll quickly put that back down, and we'll just move the coaches out of the way for now, and we'll worry about those later. Then we can lift this up and we can look at the units themselves. Okay, so if we just grab one of the units, we might as well start with the motor units at the top. There we go, we'll take that out. We'll put that to one side. Ooh, whoops, there we go. So we'll just unwrap her out of this plastic. And there we go, we'll put that to one side. There we go. And there she is. And yeah, overall, she's not too bad. It's basically your typical Hornby IET, if you're familiar with them. They're certainly not too bad. They definitely look like the real thing, which is, well, it's a good start, I suppose. But yeah, overall, there's not really that much wrong with them, to be honest. The detail is acceptable. It's not too bad. The doors don't open, but that's kind of fair enough, I suppose. Almost, well, or do they? It feels like they do, because they do actually feel a bit, well, that one certainly feels a bit loose. So maybe I think maybe the doors are separately fitted then, which isn't, well, if they are, that's not too bad. So it's better than them being moulded. They do look pretty good, because it does look like they open. So they've definitely done something good there, I suppose, in a way. The handrails beside the doors, though, they are just moulded, I believe, and separately painted. Or are they? No, they are separately fitted. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the right angle to sort of see. But yes, they are separately fitted. I don't know if they're made of metal though. But they still look pretty good, which isn't too bad. And got the GWR logo there, which looks good. That's not too bad at all. The underframe detail there, it's not too bad. It's, well, basically as good as it can be, really, because there isn't really overly much on them. I suppose maybe if they wanted to, they can maybe improve the grills, but as they are, they're not too bad. It's all just moulded, but it's been very well done. All very crisp moulding there, which isn't too bad. You've got the seats inside as well, so if you wanted to, you could take the body off and put passengers in there. It's something I might do in the future. So you have got the interior lighting as well. You can see all the LEDs there. I'm guessing it's probably still going to be the very horrible, incorrect yellow sort of colour that they were on old releases. But at least we've got it. It's not too bad. I would say this is the worst thing about these, though, is the pantographs, because they are horrible, very cheap, flimsy pantographs. And to us, on a model like this, especially with how expensive these are now, I mean, come on, 500, just over £500 RRP, and we've still got plastic pantographs. That's not good enough. That's just not good enough, really. They definitely should be metal, at the very least. For that price, a plastic pantograph is just not acceptable. I mean, I know, obviously, they're not really, it's unlikely that they'll be able to get them to actually work and actually pick up power, but still, what would be cool if they could somehow incorporate the sort of motor mechanism that other locos have, like maybe like the Batman Class of 90 or a Kurosaki 92, if they retooled these so that you can actually raise and lower the pantograph on DCC, because that would open up so many opportunities for these models on louds. I mean, imagine just being able, well, also probably on DCC only, but being able to run your model into a station, let's say on diesel, then you can, well, I suppose if it's sound fitted maybe as well, run it in on diesel mode, then you press a button, the diesel mode shuts down, and then you can press another button or something, and it raises the pantograph and switches it to electric mode. I mean, how cool would that be? That would be insane. It would certainly, in my opinion, I think, open up so much more opportunity with running these, and probably even open up more interest to them as well. Because it would just be such a nice feature for these to have. But unfortunately, as they are, it's just the as they've been from the start, typical plastic pantograph that doesn't look very good, and is very, very cheap and very, very flimsy, and probably costs about 20p to make. But yeah, oh well, I guess we'll have to deal with it. Unless you want to try upgrading it yourself, that's basically what we're stuck with. And yeah, I can't see a Hornby upgrading it anytime soon, if they're going to upgrade it at all, unless someone else does these, which is unlikely. We're probably going to be stuck with those forever. But glossing over that, elsewhere on the model, the details are still very good. On the end there, you can see all the detail there, all the sort of pipes and, well, I suppose, well, I think they're electrical cables. That's what they're supposed to be. They've been nicely moulded. Got all the warning signs there. Got the typical coupling there as well, which allows you to, well, it's basically so you can only couple these to other IET coaches. Well, I say that you could probably end up coupling these to something else, because like the Hornby Pendolino, I think their Premium Class 395 Javelin uses these couplings as well. So if you wanted to couple them to that, then obviously go ahead, but I don't see why you want to. But it's basically a special type of coupling so that you can only couple these to other certain units, which is fair enough. And they do, and most of the time they do work well, not always, but most of the time they're fine. And the bogies, they seem to be absolutely fine. They turn nicely. And the mechanism wise, I'm guessing it's going to be the same as before. So all-wheel drive and all-wheel pickup. Yeah, that's definitely driven. That's definitely driven. You can see the pickups there. So all pickup there. And then same on the other bogie. Yeah, all-wheel pickup. And yeah, all wheels pickup on all-wheel drive. So that's fine. Shouldn't expect nothing less, especially with the amount of weight this is going to be hauling. You should expect nothing less. And apart from that, there isn't really too much else. But overall, all things considered, it's still a very nice unit. The cab, you can see the cab there. The cab's not too bad on these. There's quite a bit of detail inside there on the sort of dashboard area, which is very good. You've got the nose there, which does come off, and there's a dummy well, the dummy sort of style coupler underneath there, but it is NEM, so you can, if you wanted to, whatever reason, try and couple this up to another IET, then you can definitely do that. So there are kits out there, and I've done it. So I've took a couple of my 5 cars. I purchased the West Hill Wagon Works kit for these, and I now run those permanently as a 10 carb with the magnetic couplings, and they do work well. They're not incredibly strong, they are quite fragile, but they do work well, and they do look pretty good. Apart from even though the gap between the units is massive, they do work very well. So if you wanted to do that, then you can do. But with this being a 9 car, it's very unlikely that you'll want to couple this to another IET. But you never know, someone might want to. But overall, it's not too bad at all. But one thing though that I will mention, as I've just noticed it, is the doors, and that is that the colour of these doors on this model is completely wrong. It's far too dark. It's completely the wrong shade of grey. They should be much lighter than this. And what is annoying is that they have got it correct on other units in the past, or at least, well, I don't know if it's correct for those exact units, but they have done the correct colour in the past. If I just grab one of the other IETs that we have done, here we go. So this is 800-004, the motor units from that model, and this was the first, I'm pretty sure this was actually the first, or one of the first ever IETs that Hornby did. I can't remember if it was this one or the test liveried one that came out first. I think they might have been around the same time, but this was the first GWR liveried one anyway. And as you can see, if we look at the door there, that's the colour that this model should be. But as you can see, it's far too dark. But I'm pretty sure one thing though is that this model should have the doors this colour, which is a bit strange. But I think this might have been correct throughout the time when this was out. But I'm pretty sure that a lot of the 800-0s now, a lot of the doors are now this dark grey on those. But on the certainly on this 802 in real life, it should be this colour. So if I put up a photo now of the real thing, this is actually a photo of 802.105 itself, of one of the doors, and you can see the colour, basically how wrong it is on this model compared to what it should be on the real thing. Which, to be honest, knowing Hornby, it isn't that surprising, because they usually are pretty bad for colours a lot of the time. There are other releases that they've done where the colour has been completely wrong. So it's not the first time they've done it, and I'm sure it won't be the last. It's just a bit of a shame that they haven't got that colour right. I know Trainbow that we looked at last time, the doors were the same on that as well. Whether they're correct for that model, for that unit in real life, I'm not too sure. But what I do know is, for this model, this colour for the doors is wrong. So that is a shame. It's not acceptable for the price. Hornby should have done with their research and checked that, but they didn't. And basically, this is what we'll start with. It's not going to bother me, but you never know, it might bother someone else. And with it being an issue with the model, I might as well mention it. And again, for the price, obviously it's not acceptable either. But apart from that, I don't think there's really much else really to complain about, to be honest. Well, I suppose the one with the pantograph as well. But apart from that, there isn't really too much else wrong with the model, in my opinion. Overall, it's certainly not too bad. It certainly looks good. It weighs quite a bit. So hopefully, fingers crossed, when we get it on the track later, it will run well. And I suppose the main thing is hopefully it will be able to haul the full 9-coach train, because that'll be interesting. But yeah, overall not too bad. So we'll put that units to one side. We'll have a very quick look at the dummy unit. We won't spend as much time on it though, because it is basically going to be the same as the other units, just with the lack of the motor. And I suppose with it being the standard class coach technically as well. Let's get that out. Then we can put that to one side, because that's empty now, so we don't need that. There we are. So there we go, we've got the dummy unit there. So basically almost the same as the other units, but as we can see right the way for it, because there's no motor inside, and it's much lighter. But despite that, detail-wise, still just as good. On the underframe there, you can see all the detail there, just as good as on the other model. The roof is not too bad either. All the detail there is very good. It's just a shame again, as you can see, the typical plastic pantograph and the incorrect coloured doors. But overall, still not too bad. Still a very nice model. I suppose the main thing I might check actually is the pickups. Does this units now have all-wheel pickup? We've still got the pickups on that bogie there, but do we have them on the other bogie? No, we don't, so that's a shame. So we still only have one bogie picking up power on this unit, which again isn't that great, because obviously it's not going to be that reliable. I personally haven't really had any major issues with cutting out on these with just this bogie picking up. But to be honest, I still don't see why Hornby, when they basically did these, why they didn't put all-wheel pickup on these end units, because, well, come on Hornby, more pickups, more reliability. Well, 99% of the time that's the case anyway, but certainly on a brand new model, it still would have been good to have all-wheel pickup on this unit so that you knew that the lighting would be nice and reliable. Because I know there are people out there who have had issues with these models, of these end units going over dead spots on track or express points or something, and then the lighting just cuts out and they might have to turn it back on if they're on DCC or something. It is a pain really, to be honest, and I still don't see why Hornby didn't do it. But providing it works well, then I guess I could look over it. But still, for me personally, I don't see any excuse of why Hornby couldn't fit all-wheel pickup to these end units to power the lights, because, well, come on, I think it's just common sense on these days on models like this. It would have made sense. So it's a shame that they haven't. But apart from that, it's still a very nice unit. All the detail is very good. The livery is very nice. Overall, not too bad. So we'll put that to one side, and we'll grab one of the coaches. So let's grab the tray that's got the coaches in them. We'll just move the units out of shot a bit more so we can't see them. There we go. So I haven't been inside this tray yet, so we're going to have to cut this open. So we'll just cut the sellotape. So at least you know that these aren't going to go everywhere in transit. So all nicely secured. Come on, there we go. Then we'll do this side as well, and that should be enough. There we are. Then we can lift that up. So I think the coach that we'll look at is we'll look at the first class one here, because that's probably going to be the most different compared to a lot of other coaches that we've seen in the past from these IETs. So obviously with this being 9-car, as you can see, this is a full first class coach, which we haven't seen before on these models. So we'll look at that one, and we'll leave those two standard ones as they are, because we've looked at those in the past on other IETs. So yeah, we'll leave those to one side for now. But here we go. This is the first class coach. As we can see, got the full stripe across the top there. And as we can see, overall, not too bad. It's basically your typical IET coach if you're familiar with them. Well, that's quite interesting. The detail there's, I think that's a different colour to what it has been in the past. I don't remember it being yellow on those. Was it always like that? So I don't think it was. I think it might have been orange on the other releases, or was it black? I can't remember now. I certainly don't remember it being quite that vibrant. But again, that could be me. But yeah, overall, it's glossing over that. Yeah, overall, it's not too bad. As you can see, it's still a very nice coach. Has a decent weight to it, which is fine. Has the typical interior lighting as well, which it will pick up from just one of the bogies, basically like on the dumb units. There we go, you can see there, you can see the pickups there, so that will power the interior lighting. These do have capacitors in them as well, so the lighting isn't going to be sort of flickering all over the place if it goes over a dirty track or anything. It should be nice and stable. But yeah, overall, still a very nice coach. As you can see, the livery has been applied very well and got the coach number there. The bogies turn very nicely, which is nice. No issues there. The detail is very, very good. You can see all the detail there on the underframe. Obviously, you've got the there will be an engine in this as well in real life. I'll spin it around. You can see the other side. But yeah, overall, not too bad. A very nice coach, very well detailed. Again, very nice weight to it. You can see a bit more of the circuitry inside there. Yeah, overall, not too bad. Not too bad at all. So we'll put that to one side, and we'll grab the extra coach pack, and we'll have a very quick look at one of the. I think we'll have a very quick look at one of the what would be one of the unpowered coaches in real life, because that one will be quite different again to what we've seen. So open the box on this one. Actually, before we do, let's have a quick look at it. So here we go. So we've got the extra coach pack here. Which the model code for this, if we can find it, flip it over, should be able to find it. Wherever it is, there we go. So the model code for these coaches is R40351, and it's the class 802-1 coach pack, again era 11. And you can see there it's basically like on the other box, but as you can see instead it tells about well, but yeah, basically getting the extra coach pack and extra 5-car pack instead. Oh, so we'll flip that back over. and we'll open it up and we'll have a quick look inside. Ooh, quite a big thing on that end, securing that. There you go. So let's slide the tray out. Ooh, there we go. Bit tight fit there. And then we'll grab the knife and we'll cut the sellotape so we can get inside this. So again, we'll do that bottom bit, then we'll do these two side bits, and that should allow us to access. There we are. And then do that one as well. Oh, come on. There we go. Got there in the end. Then we'll lift that up, and then we can see the coaches inside. So we can see that this one is one of these unpowered coaches. So we'll look at this one. There we go. So we'll put that back down. We'll put those to one side. There we are. So we'll take the plastic wrap off again. There we are. Ooh, there we go. And there we are. So as we can see on this model, as we can see, the bogies on this are different, which they don't have basically they don't have the frames on them. So in real life, this coach is literally bears the name really. It is literally just a coach. There's no engine in this or anything. It literally is just a regular coach. Obviously, it does have the brakes on it still. But yeah, overall, still not too bad. Obviously, this is the first time we've had this particular tooling of the IT coach, basically in model form, which is good. But overall, looking at it, it looks pretty good. All of the wheels have been very nicely detailed, which looks very nice. I'm guessing these will still have the pickups on them for the interior lighting. Are they there? Yes, they are. There we go. So we can see there, got the pickups there for the interior lighting. That's good. Are the bogie frames different or are they the same? I think they might. Oh no, they are the same. Okay, that's fine. I thought one of them was different for a second. That's just me seeing things then. But yeah, overall, not too bad. Again, livery application is absolutely fine. Looks very good. Obviously got the doors, which obviously, well, again, incorrect, but still been very nicely painted. You got the interior there as well, which doesn't look too bad. So again, if you wanted to, you could take the body off and put passengers in there. Obviously, it would probably take you quite a while to put passengers in this entire 9-coach train. But yeah, overall, not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Still a very nice coach. A decent weight to it. Feels quality. Doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart. Overall, not too bad. Certainly can't really complain about it really. So overall, I think certainly in terms of detail on this model, it's not too bad. Overall, there isn't really too much to complain about. Price still entirely unreasonable, but overall, still not too bad of a model. Obviously the pantograph, that should be better. The wrong colour doors, not really acceptable. But overall, everything else on the model, overall in my opinion, is still very good. It's nicely detailed, nicely weighted. Still plenty of features of the lighting and everything. So overall, not too bad. So the next thing to do is we'll get her onto the layout and we'll get the two end units on there first. We'll give them a quick test. We'll then get them running in because obviously they're going to need running in because they're brand new. We'll get those run in and then we can get the full 9-car set onto the track and see what she's like. So let's head to the layout, get on the track and see what she's like. Okay, so here we are on the inner loop once again. So we're going to be on DC mode, and this is the loop that I run DC on, so that's what we're going to be doing. So we'll get the dome unit on first, so that'll obviously be easier. There we go. Ooh, there we go, now she's on. So we'll push that away, and then we can grab the motor unit and get her on. Ooh. There we go, I believe we're all ready to go. Yes, we are. So we'll couple the two units together. There we go, so that should be fine. Obviously they don't run this in real life, but we're going to be running her in, so we'll just do these two units as they are for now. So we'll do around half an hour in that direction, half an hour in that direction, and that should be fine. All the mechanisms should be nicely run in and lubricated, and then we can couple her up to the rest of the coaches and get the full set going. But for now, let's just see if she actually works. That'll be the main thing. So let's give her some power and see what happens. Oh yes, that was quite lively as well actually, considering she's never ran before. Other direction. Yeah, that's not too bad actually. The lights aren't as bright as what I was expecting. Normally the lights on these are really, really bright to start with, but they're not actually too bad. What they're like on the dummy units, make sure they work. Yep, tail lights working on the dummy and the other way. Yep, that's all good. So everything on her is working, that's the main thing. That's a good start. Yeah, that's not too bad. Running quite well. Obviously, the buzzing is not her fault. That is just because of the controller that I'm using. but it sounds very smooth. There's no horrible noises coming from the mechanism. So let's get her running in, then we'll come back and we'll have a quick look in the underframe as well, actually, after she's run in. We'll see what that new 21-pin socket's like, and then we'll get her coupled up to the coaches and really see what the model's like. So let's get her running in, and then we'll come back after that. So I've got it set to about 45% power because 50% is way too fast. But as you can see, running very well. Not too bad. Okay, so the model has now finished running in. You can see I've now got the motor unit upside down here. It's just resting on a bit of track. I know this isn't ideal, please don't have a Kirby for it. But I've been doing it for long enough and I haven't damaged anything yet, so I assure you this will be absolutely fine for the moment. Yeah, the model's finished running in, all seems good, she's running very well. No issues at all, plenty of speed in her, plenty of life. So hopefully I'm sure she'll be able to handle the full-length train very well. But again, we'll come on to that in a minute. Before we get her back onto the track, we'll have a quick look inside at the new circuit board and everything inside, and the new 21-pin socket. So I've already taken out the 3 screws. As you can see, you've got the 3 screws here that hold the bottom on. So we'll quickly take this off and we'll have a look inside. So it lifts off nice and easily. And there we go. Well, that's actually quite unusual, to be honest. Okay. So we've got, as you can see, we've got the 21-pin, got the 21-pin socket there at the end. So this will be where we'll fit our decoders, well, decoder on this end, obviously the same on the other end. And then we've got the actual circuit board here, but this is quite strange. We've got like another 21-pin socket here, but obviously this is just purely, well, basically part of the circuit board. So I'm not entirely sure what that is. I don't know if there's anything sort of underneath this circuit board, which means they've had to split the main PCB in 2 sections, and this is how they're connecting them. I'm not too sure, it's a bit weird. Or have they got the motor lower? I'm not too sure. We can see the motor there, but I'm pretty sure it's no lower than it used to be. That's basically where it always was. But yeah, okay, that's a bit strange. I wasn't expecting that, but at least there we go. That's what it's like inside. So we know how the underframe is basically laid out, circuitry wise. There looks like there'll be plenty of room there for a sound decoder, because obviously sound decoders tend to be quite large. But I'm sure we'll be able to fit one in there nice and easily when the time comes. And obviously any regular decoders, they'll definitely fit in there, no problem at all as well. But yeah, overall, doesn't look too bad. There's still a bit of an unusual design there, I think, with those 2 sockets. So that could confuse someone. But yeah, overall, at least it's 21-pin, that's the main thing. I suppose that's mainly what we wanted to clear up. But overall, yeah, not too bad. So we'll get the bottom back on, get the screws back in, and get it back onto the track. And let's see if she can handle the full rake. Okay, so there we go. The unit's back onto the track and she's all coupled up, and we've now got the full 9-car rake on. As you can see, it's stretching all the way around. It's quite a long way, but hopefully it should be fine. The layout's still large enough, so I'm sure she'll be able to manage this without any issues. Or at least you'd hope so. I mean, come on. If Hornby have released this and the model isn't strong enough to haul basically what it's expected to haul, then that's not going to be acceptable, is it? But I'm sure it should be fine. The model's heavy enough, and obviously it's all-wheel driven, so fingers crossed it should be okay. But I suppose we can't really keep talking about it. It's the only thing we can really do is give us some power and see what happens. I'm not sure what direction we're going in. Oh yeah, we are going forward. Okay, so let's give us some power and see what happens. Oh, well, that's not good, is it? She can't manage it. Let's try again. Let's give her a bit of a push. That's half power. That's okay, we're up to about 60%. Okay, no, she's not having it. She can't manage it. Okay, let's try the other way. No, full power. No, come on. No, okay, no, she cannot manage it. Right, that's not a good start then. So we've got the unit here. We've got the full-length train. Very expensive model, and it can't even move itself. Well, that's not really good, is it? I'm hoping there's no issues with her. There shouldn't be. She was running absolutely fine. I have checked, I did check all the wheels and everything. All the wheels are definitely driven. There's no sort of any gears split or missing anywhere. Every wheel is definitely driven. So there shouldn't be any issues, but yeah, for whatever reason, yeah, you can see there, she can't handle it. She's just not strong enough to haul the full-length train. Well, that's not too good. Right, I'll quickly go away. I'll do a bit of investigation, then I'll come back and we'll see if we can get a full-length train. Okay, so we're back, everybody. Sorry about that, but I did feel like I had to go away quickly and have a check through things just to make sure there was no issues or anything. But yeah, unfortunately, this model is not usable. It's literally not usable at all. At least not in its full-length rake, its full-length realistic rake, shall we say. If you are going to want to run this, to be honest, you might as well not bother getting the 9-car pack at the moment. Because as it is, as nice as the model is, Hornby have not upgraded this so that it can handle this full 9-car rake. Whilst this was absolutely fine for the 5-car sets that they did, definitely no issues there with those. With these extra 4 coaches, unfortunately, this model is not strong enough to haul that amount of weight. It just can't handle it. It's just not strong enough. There's not enough traction there. It's just not capable. Really, the only way really the Hornby could have solved this, and what they really should have done, is they should have done both ends motorised. So basically, this unit as it is, and then the other units that's currently a dummy, that should be a motorised unit as well. Because one thing I have done whilst I was away is I got another motor unit from another one of my IETs and put that on. And so I basically had motor units at both ends of the rake of coaches, and they ran absolutely fine. They handled the coaches perfectly, even at the really slow speeds. They handled them perfectly. They could easily move them, no issues at all. But with just one motorised unit in this model, it's not strong enough, and that's not acceptable. Hornby should have picked this up when they were developing this model. They should have checked that this model would basically that it was strong enough to haul the full-length train and before releasing it. But unfortunately, they haven't done that. So they haven't done their testing, they haven't done their research, and they've just released the model and they've just expected it and just hoped that it will be able to handle the full-length train. But unfortunately, it can't. So as it stands at the moment, these units in their full length, you can't run them unless you're going to be running it downhill all the time or something. Yeah, you basically cannot use it, which is a real shame because it's a really nice model. I do like these, and obviously it fits in perfectly with the layout. But at the moment, I can't run it. There's no other way to put it. I cannot run this model because it can't move itself. I might have a quick try having a quick fiddle with it to see if I can get it running. I have tried putting a bit more weight on it with my fingers, and that does seem to help. So I might try putting some more weight in this unit to see if that can help. But yeah, at the moment, I'm not going to do anything at the moment. I have let Hornby know about this. I have sent them an email saying that this model was basically unusable in its current state because, well, purely because they haven't made it heavy enough. They haven't made it strong enough that it can handle the full-length train. So I'll see what they say, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, at the moment, yeah, can't do any more with this model at the moment. Can't do any more running with it because, well, as you've just seen, it's not going to go anywhere. So I think with that, we'll have to leave it here. We'll do some ratings, and hopefully maybe in the future, once I know a bit more and I've maybe been back and forth with Hornby a bit more, I might come back and I'll revisit it and see if I can hopefully get it working properly. But yeah, at the moment, yeah, not good enough, not good enough at all. So now let's have some ratings for the new GWR Class 802-1 train pack from Hornby. So the diesel on this model, overall, is certainly not too bad. Hornby do tend to do these IETs fairly well. They're certainly not perfect by any means, but overall they aren't too bad at all. The livery application overall is very good, it's been done very well. Colour-wise, obviously quite questionable, certainly with those doors. But overall, I certainly can't complain too much about the decoration, and most of the detail overall as well, it's certainly not too bad. You've got some very nice cab detail, various separately fitted and moulded details all over the place on the roof, on the underframe. Certainly can't complain about it too much. I think the main things that do let it down, as usual, is that pantograph. The plastic pantographs, they certainly aren't very good, certainly for the price as well. It's just not acceptable. They should be a lot better than they are. And I just think maybe a couple of other minor things here and there do let it down ever so slightly. Maybe the finish isn't too great, maybe it should be a bit more glossy for these. But overall, detail-wise, I certainly can't complain about it too much. Overall, not too bad. The performance, obviously, this is where the model is really going to fall down. The performance overall in general, it's not too bad. When the model can run, when it can move itself, it does run very well. It's very smooth, very consistent, plenty of speed variation. Can't complain about it at all there, really. The mechanism is very good when it can move itself. But obviously in terms of pulling power, in terms of it actually trying to haul the actual train, as we saw, it's just not capable of it. Hornby really haven't done a very good job here of actually making a model that's capable of moving itself. There should be, I think, another motor unit in this. Personally, both ends I think should be motorised, and maybe that's what even the conclusion that we'll end up coming to with them. But certainly at the moment, performance not too good. Yeah, it just can't move itself. Just not acceptable. Quality overall, this was a bit of a difficult one for me. The quality overall, it's not too bad. The model is built very well. It certainly feels very sturdy in the hands. But coming back to that pantograph again, that is one quality thing for me. Again, I just think it should be metal. And again, for the price, a plastic pantograph on a model like this just isn't good enough, and especially with how much these cost now, just not acceptable. It should be a lot better. Again, I think the finish as well, maybe a bit too much of a plasticky finish, and for a model of this price. And obviously again with the colour issues on the doors, and it's not being as they should be. It's just a few things here and there that I think just look at the quality of the model down. But apart from that, overall quality elsewhere is not too bad. Again, it's built very well, it's decorated to a very high standard. The mechanism is a good one, again when it can move itself. But overall not overly bad, just a few things here and there that let it down I think. The value for money, I think overall this is probably the worst part of the model. Just combined with the model not being able to move itself and just some of the choices here and there. Again, plastic pantograph, colour issues, it's just a few things here and there just add up. And even if the model was perfect, even if it could move itself, even if the pantograph was metal, I still think even £500 for a 5-car set, just on its own, that price is still ridiculous. It's still far too much money. But obviously in this case, with the other issues that this model has, and the fact that it can't move itself when it's a full 9-car set, it just really drags the value for money down. So unfortunately, I can't really do much better than I have. 4 out of 10 for value for money. Maybe I've even been generous there, but yeah, not good enough, unfortunately. So that's an overall score of 6 out of 10. That probably is, I think, at the moment, very generous for this model, considering how it is at the moment. But we'll never know, maybe it'll get better in the future, but at the moment, that's the best I can do.